Hi there. So, a couple things I want to do today. First, I'm going to be painting Fabius Bile and his little weird assistant guy. The second thing I want to do is I want to talk about some ideas I have for the direction of the channel and to kind of submit your thoughts and feedback in the comments. And I've got some ideas I think may or may not be good. Anyway, so first of all, it's been a couple weeks since I posted anything. My posting schedule as of late has been a little bit more sparse. I started a new job recently, so that's taken a lot of my attention, and it'll involve a bit more travel than my old job did. So I'm going to still try to get videos out on a regular schedule, but that schedule may not be, once a week anymore. It might be closer to every week and a half or twice a month, something like that. Now, that's going to bring me to my next point, which is, so basically the things that I have been painting on this channel, for the most part, are kind of what I'm just working on for my armies. I've got a Raven Guard army, I've got a Chaos Space Marine army, and I've got an Orcs army, although I don't believe I've done any Orcs on the channel so far. I'm running out of models to paint, and I've got pretty, full-size armies of each. So that brings me to my next thought, which is sort of funding the channel. So I have signed up for an Amazon affiliate account, and my thought is if I can make any money off of that, I'd like to, put it back into the channel in the form of like buying kits or models that I maybe wouldn't otherwise be buying anyway, just for having in my army, and things that would be fun painting projects, maybe something Eldar or a Tyrannid or whatever that I wouldn't normally buy, just something that would be interesting. I don't know how successful it could be. My channel is not huge, so I don't know if I'd make any money off of it at all, but it's something I've been thinking about lately. I don't frankly think that I think I'm a pretty good painter, but I'm probably not good enough to do commissions for people to pay for the channel. Although if anybody's interested, and wants to send me a model, I would consider it. You can send me a message or something, and I can get back to you with my email address. Anyway, those are, I guess, some of the thoughts that I've been having about the channel. If anybody has any other ideas, let me know in the comments. I'm curious to know if there's anything that I haven't thought of. Otherwise, I think that my pile of shame is basically at 0%. I've got 5-7 models that are still base coated at least, and other than that, I have no unpainted models in my collection. I can do other stuff like what's in my modeling hobby box, or I was thinking of doing a video about how to paint armies quickly, because I think I've painted something like maybe 8,000-9,000 points worth of models since 10th edition started. So I feel like I'm a pretty good authority on that, if nothing else. So yeah, and if anybody ever has any ideas about what might be interesting to do for future videos, let me know in the comments. Sometimes it might be a little bit tricky, like somebody suggested non-metallic metal, which is something I've never done. Not that I'm not willing to entertain it, but it's one of those things where right now I don't have any models where I think I could frankly do it. I could have maybe done it on this one, but I actually finished painting this model 2 months ago, and just haven't got around to editing the footage until just now. Anyway, with that all said, like I said, if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments. And I guess from here on out, I can get on to talking about what's actually in this video. So right here, I'm glazing. I'm glazing on the skin of this weird little guy, and I think I mentioned this in a video before, but like whenever I'm doing skin, the way I like to do it is a base coat, and then a wash, and then maybe at least 2 other different flesh tones that I either mix with one another or I mix, always with a glaze. And you see I'm mixing it up here with the back of my brush. I prefer to do that because I like to keep the paint out of the ferrule, because that's the quickest way to break a brush. But I like to do multiple colors when I'm doing flesh tones, because I think that's what flesh actually is. It's transparent, and so when we're building these transparent layers on these skin parts, I think it ends up looking more natural and more realistic. And you can even play around with different washes in different spots, like maybe a little bit of thinned down purple in one spot and a little bit of thinned down, I don't know, like crimson in another spot. It can make it more natural and more interesting looking. So here I'm going and I'm sort of dabbing some Agrex Earthshade all over I think it was Wraithbone. I would have shown it earlier on in the video, so if you want to know, you can back it up. I'm trying to get it even coverage. And then here's a dry brush, again with my little makeup brush after it's fully dried. You don't want to try and do this while it's still wet. And just a quick little dry brush. Even pressure, very light pressure. The harder you go, the more it's going to have that scratchy sort of look on it. And I ended up deciding I didn't like that and went over the whole thing with Apothecary White. I originally thought maybe I'll cut that out, but I think it's important to show, like, if you make a mistake or something that you don't love, you can always go back and paint back over it. It's easy. So here is my wash for all the metal, all the steel at least. I've done this in other videos. I like it because it's got a really nice sort of leaden, dull look about it, and it gets a really nice dark color into the crevices there. And then I'll just go back and dry brush over it with a brighter color, usually either Runefang Steel or Stormhost Silver. Stormhost is brighter, and I like good contrast, so sometimes I like to do the really nice, clean, bright color with the Stormhost Silver. I'm going to do the little fluids in his little canisters on his backpack and in his gun with a mixture of Frostheart and Nighthaunt Gloom, using a little pipette, rinse it out in between to get exactly the right number of drops in. I think pipettes are great to have, especially if you're airbrushing with Citadel paints. I really like Citadel paints. I think they're great, but they can be a little difficult to measure. I actually prefer the Citadel pots to dropper bottles, because the dropper bottles, unless you have shaker balls in there, they tend to be very difficult to properly shake up. And then if you do have dropper balls in there, then they tend to clog. The ball will get stuck in the neck of the thing or adjacent to the neck of it, and then you push really hard and it goes everywhere. And so I'm a big fan of the Citadel pots, actually. I know they're not very fondly thought of by a lot of hobbyists, but they're nice and easy to open up all the way, and you can get in there and stir them with a little tool, like a little paddle type shape tool. I typically use little modeling tools that I got at Harbor Freight for like $5 to just get in there and give it a good stir on the bottom if it needs it. Some colors don't. And yeah, Stormhost Silver is what I used. So again, same trick. One thing with these makeup brushes that I found is they can be really difficult to clean. And so what I end up doing is I'll periodically go in with some isopropyl alcohol. I try to keep a bottle of 99%, but basically anything 70% or higher will also work, just not as quickly. And I'll just sort of mash it around in a little glass bowl with a small amount of isopropyl alcohol, and that'll break up the acrylic resin in there. So here's more glazing. I think I want to do more talk about glazing in general, because I think it really intimidates a lot of people. And the thing about it is it starts off really slow. You mix it with some medium and you put a little bit on and it's basically invisible, and that's fine. That's actually not a bad thing, because if you're patient, or if you have a hairdryer, you can wait for it to dry, start putting more layers on, and eventually after the second or third coat, you will start to see a nice, smooth, natural looking transition that's more easily controlled than from an airbrush. Let's say, with an airbrush you get overspray on parts that you don't want, and the transition oftentimes looks like it's sprayed. It has a very distinct sort of look, but with glazing, if you can take a little bit of time, you can accomplish some really cool effects. And I'm just using that to do on the bulk of these sort of leather panels on his weird little lab coat thing. And again, doing a couple different colors here. Here I'm doing, I think it's Thondia Brown on the seams to give it a little more contrast. And again, it's almost transparent on that very first layer. I'm going back with some dark blue to make it look like there's liquid sloshing around inside. So do it anywhere where there's a canister, like this little gun or the backpack canisters, that kind of thing. Just an easy little trick to make it look like it's more natural, more like a real canister of liquid. All right, and then here I'm going through and just doing a little quick edge highlight with some of the purple that I had originally used, mixed with, I think it's Screamer Pink. And again, with just with my nice Rosemary & Company, I think it's a 000 maybe. Just going in and using a nice sharp line here. This is an interesting one. I think a lot of people don't know about panel liner. It's ultra thin, it's solvent based, so it does smell, but the idea is you're going to dab a little bit of it on with this little built-in brush, and it will wick into the crevices. And normally you're going to use that on something like the lines of a tank, panel lines in a tank, but it can work for other applications too. And then this is my preferred tool for doing irises, is the smallest micron pen you can find. And just, if you need to use like a magnifying glass or like a jeweler's headset thing, and get some really good light on it and just hold it really steady, you can just dab it with the tip of the pen there, and it'll give you a nice little black dot that can be an iris after you've already painted a little bit of white down there. Makes it really easy. Well, not really easy, but easy enough. Easier than trying to do it with a brush. Pardon the shaky camera there. Just some more edge highlighting. These sable brushes are really nice because they keep their shapes so nicely. I've had this thing for well over a year, and it's in perfect condition. It cleans so easily. It was a little bit more expensive, but it wasn't that expensive. I think it was $11 at a local art supply shop. I apologize for the focus here. It's kind of going in and out a little bit. And so here they are, all finished, looking tabletop ready. Did a couple little details like the red liquid and this and that, but basically that's where it is, all finished. I think I used some striking scorpion green for that little green hose. This guy, I did a little like flick of blood for the blood god with a toothbrush onto his arm there, and just touched up the metal a little bit. If you have any thoughts or questions or anything like that, or any thoughts about my rambling introduction to this video, leave them in the comments. I'd love to have a conversation. Thank you.